This week will commemorate the 70th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, the German concentration camp where millions of Jews were murdered during World War II. It's a symbolic day for all Jewish people across the globe, and particularly in Melbourne, which became home to one of the largest populations of Holocaust survivors per capita, second only to Israel. Sarah Farnsworth spoke with one of the few remaining people who was at Auschwitz when the Russian soldiers arrived.
Bernard Kleinman was 16 when Auschwitz was liberated.
The door of our barrack, of our hospital barrack, opened the door, burst open, and the first Russian soldier appeared. And they stopped. They stopped there where they saw a handful of sick ones, skeletons, human skeletons. They stopped. They stood there for a while, just for a short while, in utter silence, shaking, not believing their eyes.
He'd arrived at the death camp 9 months earlier with his parents, 2 sisters and a brother. His parents were killed in the gas chambers. His brother Hermann died as German soldiers marched the prisoners out of Auschwitz just days before its liberation. The only reason Bernard Kleinman was still there was because he'd suffered a beating and was in the infirmary.
I knew immediately, we are free. We are free. We are no more under Germany. The Germans can't touch us. I shudder what it means to be liberated at Auschwitz. Oh, what it means.
70 years on, and what he saw as a boy still reduces him to tears.
It never leaves me, not for one day. It's every day with me. But I try to cope with it. I have to continue life with my life.
Bernard Kleinman still has a few documents that record his time at the death camp. They are too private to share, as is the 4-digit number the Germans tattooed on his arm. But he shows this photograph, taken in Krakow a month after he was freed. He's still wearing his camp-issued cap and shirt.
You have to remember that Auschwitz is a place which is very difficult to describe unless you were there. How can you describe hell?
Marking the liberation of Auschwitz is symbolic for all Holocaust survivors.
I hate to say it. What is going on today? It's history repeating itself. Religious things should not come into it at all. It's the human race. I don't know what's happening.
Bernard Kleinman was reunited with his sisters in Prague months after his liberation from Auschwitz.
I am a very lucky man. I tell you, I emphasize and I repeat it again.
He's one of 3,500 Holocaust survivors who remain in Melbourne. Faces the world is asked never to forget. Sarah Farnsworth, ABC News, Melbourne.